Man, that is so good. I'm Jamie, welcome back. Today we are going to make tofu egg salad. This video is going to be a little bit different from the other tofu salad recipes that you've seen online because I'm going to share 3 hacks to not only level up your cooking game, but also to level up this particular dish. So the number 1 hack to leveling up your cooking game and making yummier food in general is to use fresh ingredients. That sounds really basic, but hear me out. I used to work with a bunch of professional chefs and they would make the most amazing food, as you can imagine. And they made really basic vegetables taste so delicious. Like that's how vegetables should be prepared. And I always ask them, what is your secret? And the secret is simply fresh food. That was their secret. Nobody can compete with the power of nature. So the fresher the food, the better it's going to taste. It's not necessarily about the ingredients that we add into a recipe. The fresher the celery, for instance, in this recipe, a lot of people like to add parsley and dill. The fresher those herbs are, the better your dish is gonna be. There are some days, I get it, you have 0 energy, but you still wanna make this. All you need is the tofu. You need a little bit of fat or a vegan mayo. I'll show you my favorite one. And then you need a little bit of salt. That is it. Ideally, what we like to refer to in this household as fart salt. Fart salt is delicious. I know, we should give it a different name, but it's funny and we all know it's delicious, so it's fine. Those are the only 3 things that you really need to make this dish. Everything else is extra. I encourage you to be extra because you deserve it and you deserve to eat delicious food. And especially if you're gonna make this and want to impress somebody, then add a little extra. For the last hack, you're gonna have to stick around until the end of this video, and I promise you, especially if you wanna impress somebody, particularly yourself, which I encourage you to do, you're gonna wanna stick around for this one. Now, when I was a single lady back in the day, living all by my lonesome in the city, I so wish I ate and just made simple recipes like this. Look at that. I have always loved egg salad, but eggs don't agree with me in many ways. So this is a great alternative that is super healthy. It makes me happy. It's really good for our lady parts because there are phytoestrogens, which are very different from estrogens that come from an animal. Phyto meaning coming from a plant, P-H-Y-T-O. So this is so good. I love eating this just with crackers, this is not a Triscuit, but you know, like a Triscuit type cracker. You're gonna wanna eat this. This is like the perfect bachelorette food where many of my meals would be, I don't know why I'm laughing about this. It's kind of sad. I only say it was sad because although I loved living by myself, there were many like Friday nights that I was like lonely, you know? And all I had was like me, my plant, my TV, online people. I didn't have any friends. I did have friends, but we were just not connected. You know, it was hard. It was hard times. And it's especially not funny because it is a growing problem these days. Anyway, there were many a Friday night when I was sitting alone in my apartment and I would just eat snacky food like this. Like I would literally just want crackers and some sort of a dip, something that was so basic, so easy. So this is good for like busy moms. It's good for bachelorettes. It's so good. There's so much nutrition in tofu and anything else that you want to put into it, like any kind of fresh herb, celery, some of the spices that we may use. So yeah, let's get this into us. Yeah. When I cook, I don't like using measuring cups and measuring spoons. I just prefer to just know what the ingredients are, know approximately what the quantities of them are, throw them in, mix it up, taste as we go, and then alter it. If you think, does this need a little bit more salt? Every salt has a different saltiness level. So maybe some of my fart salt is a little bit old and so it's kind of losing its sodium content or saltiness. That has definitely happened. So I have had to buy new Kala Namak. That's what it's actually called, or it's referred to as a black salt, not fart salt. But here in this kitchen, we're gonna refer to it as fart salt. I want you to learn how to cook. So even though I've included the actual ingredients with the exact measurements in the description of this video, I want you to eventually, when you make this, just know what the ingredients are that you're gonna use, plop them all together, mix it up, taste it, and then you will start to tell, it definitely needs a little bit of salt. That's the easiest thing to identify. Then you add a little bit of salt, add a little bit at a time, because it's hard to remove things because we can't remove it once we've added it. We're just gonna have to add more things to dilute the salt. So a little bit at a time, but then you're gonna taste and think, you know what, it seems a little bit heavy. So can I brighten it up a little bit? Or it might taste a little bit dull. So in that sense, you might need a little bit of acid or a little bit of sour. So we might squeeze in a little bit of a lemon or add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some sort of an acid, which is typically vinegar. Maybe tomato is acidic, or like a lemon or a lime. Or you might think, you know what, this is just like flavorless. I need some umami business going in here. Typically, the umami for me comes from fat and salt together. That is the way that you will learn how to cook. And really, that's my goal, is to teach you how to cook. This channel is built specifically for beginners in the kitchen. And I never grew up, cooking in my grandma's kitchen or anything like that. I've had to learn how to cook all by myself, and I did it just one meal at a time. So I hope you include this recipe into your overall repertoire. Let's get to it. So quickly, I wanted to show you the ingredients that go into this dish, and specifically the products that I like to use. When it comes to tofu, I like firm. It can be extra firm, it can be super duper firm, whatever it is. But just think about the egg salad that you like. Do you like it super soft? Some people do. If you do, then use soft tofu. I like a little bit of firmness, so I go with firm, but whatever you have, it will work. And then there are a couple of ingredients that might be a little bit like not on the normal side of things, or weird. Let's just call them weird products for now. I'm okay with that. All right, so let's talk about bread. Let's talk about bread. All right, so let's talk about the star of the show, the tofu. So there are many types of tofu. It says, "Hi, I'm extra firm." And this brand, I've never actually met a tofu brand that I did not like, and I've tried many over the years. There's also these brands. Don't mind the brand name, but this is a silken tofu. See right there, silken. And that just means it's super soft. It's like butter. It'll just kind of like melt in your mouth. It's wonderful. It's wonderful for soups. Some people do prefer silken tofu in this recipe. So experiment, you, do what you like. But in terms of the tofu brand, get what is just fresh and not out of date, and you're good. Second thing is fat. So any kind of a mayonnaise. I prefer to use a vegan mayonnaise because I like the ingredients better. So the product I love to use is Vegenaise. It's Follow Your Heart Vegenaise. Lastly is the fart salt. So this is the black salt, or Kala Namak, and it is very popular in Indian cuisine, and I got this at an Indian grocery store for $3.99 American. You can order it on Amazon. I'll link everything in the description. And I like to take it out of the bag and put it into a spice jar. But when you cook with it, make sure that you got a hot date over. As soon as you open this, it will smell like you let one rip. And yeah, it's just funny. Every time I cook with this and Kreider comes into the kitchen, he's like, woo, yeah, salt time. Anyway, it is delicious. You can add it to anything. It's got just a depth of flavor to this salt that just elevates every dish. Our young daughter, Elle, she loves this salt. And so if there's a dish that she's just not digging, she'll reach for the fart salt and just start sprinkling away. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in an Indian grocery store. That's the only place that I've ever really seen it. And it is great. So this little bag will last you probably for years. It's also quite potent, i.e. like very, very salty. So you want to tread lightly. Although it's called black salt, you'll see it's not black. It's actually like very pale pink. When it gets wet, immediately it will turn a little bit black just for like a nanosecond. There we go, the fart salt. So then for the acid, a lot of people like to use fresh lemon juice, or you could use like a rice wine vinegar. My preference for this particular recipe is apple cider vinegar. I typically prefer fresh lemon juice in almost anything, but for this particular recipe, for some reason, I do like the apple cider vinegar instead of fresh lemon. There's also Nooch, or nutritional yeast. This is a brand that is delicious. You can buy it so many different kinds. I've tried a few, and again, they're all good. You can buy it in a bag. Again, I'll link this in the description. Many vegans you may hear say, it tastes just like cheese. Wow, it's amazing. Whoa. It doesn't taste like cheese and it doesn't smell like cheese, but it smells like theater popcorn, which is a delicious smell. There is a cheesy after scent to it, I will admit. But when you pair this with a fat and a salt, that's when things start happening and you can mimic a cheesy-like flavor. So Nooch is a magical product, especially for people who don't eat a lot of cheese or don't eat cheese and want to. I get a lot of questions about bread and what bread is healthy, what bread is unhealthy. Well, the question is, compared to what? Is your bread that you have in your kitchen healthy compared to perhaps something that may come in a bun on a McDonald's burger? Your bread in your kitchen is probably healthier, but I don't know. Here are the breads that I love. So I love any kind of everything bagel. This is from a brand called Dave's Killer Bread, Epic Everything Bagels. These are yummy. And then I also love something called Ezekiel. This is the Ezekiel flourless sprouted grain bread. This is delicious. It does not taste like cardboard, which I thought it would. I love to keep this guy in the freezer so that way it's always fresh. And then when I'm ready to eat it, I just pop it in the toaster oven and I'm good to go. Okay, so staying on the Ezekiel train. So these are really, really good. You don't even have to toast it. I find that toasting it kind of makes them crumble a little bit. So I don't even toast it. I just pack it in, roll it up, enjoy it. It is beautiful. I love it. It says the live grain difference. I believe it. I believe there is living food in these products. So I'm really digging the Ezekiel stuff lately. Why, you might wonder, would anybody eat this kind of bread as opposed to just like regular bread? This has whole foods in it, and that's what you're going to learn throughout watching videos on this channel, is the absolute importance of eating whole plant foods. We're going to eat whatever we're going to eat. I'm not here to tell you how to eat, and I would never accept anybody telling me how to eat, but I am here to tell you that we're going to eat our way to a better life because of these whole plants. All right, so let's get to it. This is the one that I'm going to go with because for these recipes, I like to use firm tofu. All right, this is what you want to use. So for this, you can either peel it open or you can just get a knife and just carefully, just pierce it. And then I just drain it. And then you can squeeze it a little bit, but then I just peel it open. And many people, you will see, press the tofu. They squeeze the tofu with clean paper towels or clean kitchen towels. But what we are going to do is simply prop it up like this and just leave it. So now I'm going to clean up, I'm going to do a little bit of work, and then I'm going to come back whenever I'm almost ready for lunch, and we will see that all the water has just drained into the container and you've done no work. So you can use a tofu press, you can do all those things. This is the same, it's the same output, it's the same result, and this is how I like to do it. Now we are going to start building our tofu egg salad. So let's take a look at our tofu. I drained the water as it was draining into this cup just to show you how much liquid actually came out of just resting the tofu block in the package. So if I pop it all back in there, look at all that. Look at all of that liquid. Insane, right? So you can just discard that, and I'm just going to leave it in here because we're going to start making all of our stuff. So I will pop everything in here. once I've chopped it, but let's get going with our celery. I like to have a little bit of celery. I like to snip the ends just a little bit. And cooking with my mom, she's like horrified at how much food waste happens. So I'm just gonna leave that over there. And then let's just cut it into thinner strips. I actually like lots of celery in my tofu egg salad, so I could use much more than this, but let's just start with this. Alrighty. Little bite-sized celeries. Let's pop that in there. And then I'm going to also add in just a little bit of green onion. I'm going to just snip that end. I can't help myself. I just have to snip the ends. Just gotta do it. Just gotta do it. Okay, let's get that in there. Okay, and I also love chives. I got a bunch of chives, but let me show you something pretty neat. I could use those up, but I also got these chives. Look at these! How cool is that? So it just came in one of those things that you buy, and I've already washed this, and if you could just smell the difference between these chives that were pre-cut and these chives that are already that are still in their roots. These ones smell way better. So let's take a bunch of these. I'm gonna actually try to plant these and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Oh, got some dirt. I don't mind eating a little bit of soil, to be quite honest. So I've already washed these. Let me put these back. Okay, so let's also add in some chives. Does not need to be perfect. Changed my mind. I do want more celery in this, so I am going to do this. I like the green parts, so all right. Now, celery naturally has higher salt content than other plants. So here is our start. Looks beautiful. And now let's layer in some goodness. The absolute basic is your fat, the tofu, which we'll add in at the end, and then some salt. So with this, I'm gonna add in a couple good heaping tablespoons. Let's just start there. And then the fard salt, please tread lightly. Oh, I so wish you could smell this. These are large holes. I should probably have less large holes, but I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna add in pepper. I enjoy lots of pepper. And then we're gonna add in some nooch. That's what that looks like. Not a whole lot. I will add in a tiny bit of turmeric. Definitely use a little thing, because if you add too much of this, then you are in trouble. It's very potent. If you just add in a little tiny bit, it will definitely color it. Put this in the sink because this will stain everything it touches. We'll add in a little bit of the apple cider vinegar. Why not add in some mustard? We have some. And then I will add in a tiny bit of celery seeds. Now, I actually have another secret hack that I will share at the end. Okay, so we got everything in here. Now we can stir it up. And now you ready for the fun part? Gonna break our tofu in here. So a little tiny bit of water still draining out. Now I could squeeze this out even more. You do want it to be pretty dry, but I'm just gonna mix it in. It's all good. Yeah, yummy. Okay, now, yum. Now you'll see it's not yellow, yellow, yellow. So if you want to color it more yellow, let's add in a little bit more turmeric. Let's add in a little bit at a time. Okay. I'm not going to add in more because I don't want it to taste too turmeric-y, but this looks great. Definitely needs more salt. I am going to add in a little more nooch, some pepper. Okay, now let's taste test it again. Needs more fat. So I'm going to go in for a little more fat. I'm also going to add in a little bit of regular salt because I find that different salts taste different. Yum. Yum. Now that is delicious. That is our tofu eggy salad. Yum. So we have an everything bagel, tomatoes. Which one should we have out of these? Look how beautiful that is. Gorgeous, right? Let's do this one. This one's calling my name right now. I'm gonna do some beautiful tomatoes. Like that. I like lots of pepper on my tomatoes. A little pinch of salt on them too. I'm happy just like that. And then I'm gonna add in some sprouts. Oh yeah. And then let's scoop in how cute this thing is. I don't know why I'm using this. I could just use my spoon, but I just thought that would be cute. And there you go. Oh my goodness. Yum, yum, yum. That looks so good. And then some extra chives right there. Nice. Okay, so that's one. This is an Ezekiel bread, which I am obsessed with. It's flourless. I mean, I love flour and gluten, but this is so good. So for this one, I'm gonna layer in some cucumber, putting it on the bottom, so hopefully it doesn't slip around too much. Oh yes, oh yum. Yes, beautiful. Oops. And there is that. You can also top this with some sprouts if you would like. How beautiful. And there you go. We've got our plate already here. I've got this piece. I've got my bagel. And there is our lunch. Pretty nice. I'm gonna go back to my favorite way of eating this. The bagel and the toast was very filling, and I was filled up for, I was gonna say days. No, for hours. It felt like days. Now, some people will recommend that after you make your tofu egg salad, pop it in the fridge, let all those flavors marinate and meld together. And I am almost always way too impatient to do that. But the good thing is you make a batch, you eat some, you pop the rest in the fridge, and over time, it becomes more delicious. All right, so the last tip that I have for you, this one is really, really good. And actually, this is a chef's tip. And you wanna know what chefs do? They add some horseradish. Yeah, horseradish. It's not just for prime rib anymore, or however we eat horseradish. So I'm going to take a little dollop of that, and I'm going to mix it into my tofu egg salad. And I'm telling you, this gives it such an amazing flavor. I am #impressed with this chef's tip. Thank you, chefs. It is really good. When you think of that, like, you know, that nose sensation that you get when you eat horseradish or like wasabi, that's not what happens when you add it to your tofu egg salad. But it gives it a real lift and just a delicious factor that you're gonna wanna try out. Yeah, cheers. Cheers to that. And you also saw me add sprouts to my lunch. If you wanna learn how to make sprouts at home, then check it out.